Well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome to Rowdies Live, the Rock and Roll Rowdies channel. It's awesome to be here with these distinguished gentlemen.
Hang on, who?
And Wilco. And
I was thinking the same thing.
So good afternoon, everybody. Gentlemen, how are you all? Are you
good,
all good?
good?
You know,
Wilco,
nothing like
Yeah.
like nothing like showing like thumbs up on the radio.
That's right.
That's right. Thumbs up on the radio.
I was relying on AI for that.
Oh yeah.
Yes, we're all going to be de-aged for the radio broadcast.
Right.
Yes.
Everything's beautiful out here in California, though we're having another friggin' heat wave.
All right.
And
Oh, my heart friggin' bleeds for you.
Oh,
my heart
yeah.
bleeds for
and
me.
but
We
I've
had
got my
6
I have
mile-an-hour
my
winds that blew my fence down last
I've
night.
got my trusty
good.
British Railways mug with cold water to keep me cool.
Your rusty British Railways rug. So Wilco, you've still got that cast on. When's that coming off?
It comes off next Tuesday. I'm going to get some bubble wrap and just cover my entire body so I don't fall over again.
Ooh,
I had a great bottle of wine last
that's
night.
kinky.
Yeah.
What you need is one of those things that they had in The Prisoner, those big white balls that would catch the Patrick McGowan and bring him back. That's what you need.
You know, my advice to everybody, don't drink and walk. You know.
That's right.
Too late.
Just don't walk.
Don't walk.
So
Because we'll be doing a lot of drinking and walking and deal very soon.
So we may have the 100% Wilco soon after all the mishaps.
Yeah, and look, I'm actually on my computer. I worked all this out, what the problem was, all by myself.
Very good.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez. So you'll be working in
Yeah,
tech support
It
soon.
was those fingers doing the walking thing, Will.
Yeah,
You know
look at
what I mean? Put the hand down, put it away. You know, let it fiddle down below.
Man on board, man on board.
Yeah. And Mal, sir, you've lost your fence, obviously, but otherwise, are you well?
Oh, I'm good. Like I said, the weather is very changeable. We go into that type of year. It's October, strong winds, floods in Scotland. You know,
It always was. I mean,
That sounds normal.
Oh, no,
serious floods,
wet
serious bad weather, serious bad weather.
Yeah. Oh,
You know,
well, you
weather
know.
words. There was a village that they told to evacuate the village completely because the weather was going to be so bad.
Maybe they're going the way of old Doggerland, which sank into the North Sea a few thousand years ago.
The Dogger Bank, is that the same?
Bank, yeah, same place. It used to be all above ground of 4,000 or 5,000, 6,000 years ago, or 10,000 years ago. Gradually it sank. There was a whole, loads of people living there.
Parts of Hartlepool, they'd be better off if they flooded it out.
Well,
Hey, I'm going there next month, and I'm going to Edinburgh next month. You know.
Oh, my home
good for
city.
you.
Yeah. Well, I'll be sure to alert the authorities.
Yeah.
I was there one time on tour. I can't remember who with. In the early days, it was probably Vinegar Joe, and we got stopped by the police, and this big burly police sergeant told me I was the wrong side of the border.
Sergeant Inglis.
Was that him? Because that's my name.
I wasn't going to give that away.
Not pronounced like that, though. Where I come
Right.
from. But that's interesting because many times in England I suffered anti-Scottish bias.
No,
And I felt targeted and
no,
excluded.
I've always drunk Scotch.
I remember Derek Dugan. You remember Derek Dugan?
Oh, absolutely.
In a bar in Wolverhampton, giving me shit for being Scottish. And I was just standing there minding my own business. And I thought, what did I ever do to you? It's a famous footballer, Derek Dugan. But there you go.
Yeah.
I said I'm not going to any more Wolverhampton Wanderers games as a result of your tirade. That wasn't true. I still went anyway. So, Granny, my friend, how are you today, other than hot?
Well, been a busy morning today, communicating railway facts and figures to and from Canada. A certain person in Canada. We got into monorails and the Wuppertal Bahn.
Yeah,
that's good.
Educate, quizzing each other on
You caught me
railways.
twice. You caught me out twice on the test. I can't know everything.
No, but I didn't know that thing about the Glasgow monorail either. So that was very interesting.
Life is good out in California, though I'm not really up for retirement. But I have a gig next week.
Ah, okay, right.
Thing in town.
So a dresser at a local strip club.
So something like that.
Are you gigging the end of the month?
Yes.
Oh, you are? Okay, because I was going to miss Michael and Michelle's gone. And just seeing lots of bird stuff up on the lighthouse there.
I get your bird stuff. I get it.
Always with the birds.
I've got 3 of these.
I'm up for a bit of bird stuff.
What's that?
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
I have quite a collection of them.
2.
I have quite a collection.
3. Well, give me $60 the yours. You know,
that's the
national quite a collection of my own.
Is that the National Rail prophylactic containers?
Yeah. It's only got room for 3 cards.
Yeah, it's where we put our per diems.
Yeah.
So I got some.
But also a quick hello to our friend Dustin. How are you, buddy?
Doing wonderful. How is everybody? Glad to be here.
Yeah, thanks for joining us, my friend. I know you've been dashing about the country doing things recently and ketoing all over the place.
He's glowing with health. He's glowing.
Following you here, there, and everywhere.
He is diabetes.
Some of that food is looking good.
Yeah, absolutely. Look at what it does for your hair. I need to be eating some.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Hell out.
It's falling down. It's gone down south.
Hello to everybody out there listening, whether it's live on the replay. Hello to our great friend Andy. Good to see you, buddy. And also we have now is that Maro? Andrea, good to see you. Thank you for being here. So gentlemen,
is that Maria Andre?
Maria, is that how we pronounce it? It's Welsh.
It's got to be.
Andreu seems a bit Central European.
Yeah, but thank you for joining us, and good to see you. So, gentlemen, we've talked many times in the past about your travels, and we thought we'd just have a little bit of fun discussion around some of your airline and air transport and air travel experiences. And because this is back in the day in the 1970s when things were radically different from now. I mean, now you go online, you buy a seat in a plane, you pick it, you get everything, it's all on a digital whatever, then entirely different. What was Wilco, you want to kick off? What was all about?
Yeah, I mean, as a tour manager for me in the 70s with the Average White Band, our book was the OAG. We had to, I would look at every flight that day, working with the record label.
There it is.
There it is. Because in those days, it wasn't visual as well. It was all radio stations. So I had to make sure we're getting it at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. The Average White Band, the AWB Army, they were very professional guys. I mean, I would go ahead with all the baggage. And I think, Mal, you mentioned that before. And, with all the airline tickets, we just pull up outside. The bell captain would take 20, 30 bags. You give him a 20 spot. That was done. You didn't check in. You went straight to the gate. And you go to the gate and you just get all the boarding passes. And the band would just arrive and look up and go, okay, it's gate 10, and just meet me at the gate.
Yeah, you'd have the paper tickets. Everything would be paper ticket.
Yeah. There was no TSA. There was nobody bothering you. It was absolutely fantastic. Then you got into the private jets, which was a Learjet, which turned into 2 Learjets for 8 people, which was ridiculous.
Now, what was that like? I mean, was that a luxury experience or just someone that was a bit more private? Okay.
It was very private, but it was luxury. It was a smaller plane, but there was only 6 of us, 7 of us, and we didn't take much baggage on that, to pull up in a limo and just relax and then just put your bags in and jump in the plane and an hour, 2 hours later where you are, you don't go through all the baggage claim and all that nonsense.
But that couldn't have been for every trip. I mean, that was just certain trips.
No, Granny, remember, we did a whole bunch of college tours.
I know.
And we based ourselves in Pittsburgh for a week and come home every night. We'd be in Chicago for a week. We'd be in, so the plane would go and do the thing, come back every night. So we're in our own bed, which was also another disaster because the time we got back, all the bars were closed.
Yeah, pretty extravagant for the level of gigs they were doing.
Yeah, another
sounds like it. Yeah, I mean, a college tour and you're on a private jet. I mean,
yeah.
And who was paying for that? The record company or the band?
Oh, the band. It was a band sixpence. And as Granny knows as well, I mean, after about 3 months of this, I turn up at the airport and there's 2 Learjets. And I'm going, what is this? And I'm going, well, we thought we'd have another one. We'll have 4 in each Learjet. And I was like, no. The guys are just throwing money away. And I think that lasted about a month.
Wasn't it because some of them it was easier to get to a New York airport, and for the others it was easier to go to a Connecticut or something?
Yeah, it was a load of BS.
I mean, that's terrible. Yeah, I mean, 4 in each. Why don't we have 1 each?
Let's have it was like let's
with the Learjet thing. I remember once with Genesis, we had one purely for the luggage.
Oh God!
No people. Just the luggage.
Just the luggage. Well, the hostess in the plane.
Stewardess of all time.
That is fantastic.
The stewardess must have been pretty lonely on that one, yeah. So is your average Learjet got, like, it's obviously got pilot, co-pilot, but was it just one hostess or host?
No hostess at all.
Nothing, just...
No, that was my jig.
Yeah. All right, so you had to bring some sandwiches on board and
beer.
On board. It was the alcohol. Forget
they would let you know what do you need on board, so it would all be there ready, waiting for you. So you have the bar snacks and the bar.
Was that your job though, to tell the airline? I mean, was this like a private airline?
Yeah. Right, in fact, we were renting John Denver's Learjet.
Airliner.
And but he had like 3 or 4 that he was renting out. He had a company.
Right.
And we actually had these actual pilots, and he wasn't gigging, and they'd just go off and make a ton of money,
Yeah. So the alternative to that would have been, if you hadn't been using those, commercial air or just the good old fashioned truck.
Oh,
yeah. Tour buses didn't come. I never was on a tour bus with the average white band at all. My introduction to tour buses was the Allman Brothers in 1980.
Right.
But we used to do a lot of driving in big old Lincolns and big old Praddies in the 70s. And then the Learjets kind of like, we just one day went, that's it. The next thing we were flying American Airlines. And we did a lot of American Airlines 2 legs over easy stuff,
This is the kind of thing you were dealing with booking stuff, though. I mean, this is page after page of this.
Yeah.
So you get different type of aircraft and everything. You can see what was supposed to be on it.
Yeah.
725 and L10.
Hundreds of pages of
727.
this.
And then there's a 727 stretch there too.
Yeah.
That was about 2 feet. And Molly, you're like, I need that 2 feet. So, okay, Molly, 727 stretch for you,
And of course, on these planes in those days, it was full on smoking. All sorts were going on, I guess, if you had the whole band and all the roadies on there.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, the worst one was when Kokomo was supporting us. And John Binden was the tour manager that lasted 4 days and walked off it. And I just told him, I said, I'm not going to look after both bands, especially Kokomo. There's no way.
They were nuts.
Oh, they were mental. I mean, they were just about to close the door on every flight, and all of a sudden they're banging on the door. And they were just like wasted. They were getting on the planes and stuff. And because there was nobody waking them up. There was no tour manager.
Right.
It was like all the musicians on their own,
Possibly why their career never really took off then.
Oh, yeah. Part of it.
Unintended. And then there was another image I had, which was this kind of thing, World Airways Guide.
Yeah.
That's from October 1980. So I've no doubt you guys came across that at some point. These were every year, I think, or every fall or every month. And they would be all the latest new flights. Hey, jumbos in London, that kind of thing. So yeah, it must have been a hell of a. You were like carrying around a stack of books this thick.
Yeah, I mean, by the time we went out, Brian, I mean, for me anyway, it was like 99% done. And I remember the Dormouse, Mr. McIntyre, which I just spoke to yesterday, by the way, guys. And he was drunk one night, and I went, look, you come, or he was whatever. I said, you're staying in my room this night. He goes, okay. So I put him in the bed next to me, and all of a sudden, 4 a.m, I'm advancing the next gig. And he's like, what are you doing? I'm going, I'm doing my gig. And then by 7 o'clock, he goes, I'm going to my own room. I went, yeah, get your bags. We're leaving in 20 minutes. But it was always advanced. You always had to keep advancing, make sure they knew the exact times, have the luggage van there, the limousines there, the hotel ready for us, the list is ready.
Logistical exercise every time.
It was, you had to, because there was one time you don't do it, then all of a sudden the limo company will go, oh, sorry, we have tomorrow's date. You know, you stood at the airport like a bunch of,
Yeah, but Wilco, like the thing of like talking about the flights, I don't know about you, but I only was on a plane twice before I came to the States. I had one flight to Northern Ireland and one flight from Paris to London when a truck broke down. So all of a sudden we're then going to the States in jumbo jets and flying thousands of miles. All of a sudden we were where we'd been driving a truck for months and months and months. Now we were just hopping on planes, just like on and off them, 2 or 3 a day sometimes. It was a huge leap forward again. It was another one of these forward of what we were doing. And you're thinking 5 years before that, we were in Hartlepool. I keep reminding myself how we made those transitions.
Different scale, of course, because in the UK, you can do a truck tour, you can do a bus tour. In the US, that's just like nightmare of 12-hour drives every day or 14 hours.
Some bands would fly ahead and you'd meet them with the equipment like Van der Graaf and Vinegar Joe might occasionally fly, but
Did the Gnidrolog, didn't they have their own jumbo jet?
We had our own private
branded
our own private London bus disguised.
So that's the Learjet experience, but did any of you work with a band that actually did have their own branded jet? Like you used
Mal
to
must
see?
have.
Mal must have. Come on.
Well,
Iron Maiden.
we didn't have. I didn't work with, but not so much our own private branded jet, but we had a big aeroplane for with Genesis, with Phil, and with Pink Floyd. We all used the same aeroplane, which was the MGM Grand 737.
So
which
that is
owns about
interesting.
100. There we go.
That's a 727.
I'd forgotten about this. MGM Grand Airline existed for a long time, and then it became something else, and I think it's out of business now. But they had their own
flew
planes.
on that for a long, and we chartered that a lot. And it wasn't fitted out regular; it was custom fitted.
Like this.
That's the bedroom there. That's the back.
I'm doing a podcast
with the bedroom.
I'm going to do a podcast. And I'm calling you now.
We'll go. Networking.
Chatting away to somebody.
Networking live.
Sorry about that. That was Chris Adamson saying hi.
Yeah. So this is this actually what it looked like now?
Yeah. Like I said, that section at the back there, that was a bedroom.
It's going to make my eyes bleed. It's so
my eyes are bleeding. It looks like there's a pole in the middle of the airplane.
Dancing pole.
Yeah, well, that's it. That used to run, direct from like East Coast to West Coast as well. And lots of stars used to use it.
Well,
we actually rented the whole thing on several occasions.
They actually had they were only like maybe 30 people on board.
Yeah,
on a huge jet. And they did say, I read up about it because I'd forgotten all about these guys. They charged the equivalent of a first class flight on a ticket on a commercial flight, but you got so much more for it.
Well,
on this.
When you do a full charter for months on end, you get a different kind of rate. If you were flying East Coast to West Coast, yes, they charge you first class. It was, you could take your dog on board with you back then. and it was
It's a rather derogatory way to
I had
describe
six
your
of them.
yeah. But no, when we were taking it, I mean, with Pink Floyd, we took it from America to Europe and flew it all over around Europe as well.
So you had the use of that one jet the whole time.
Yeah, with the same crew.
All right, that's pretty good. And what, like,
So there was a 5-man crew.
Oh, and it was just men.
No,
I was going to say the band wouldn't have been too happy about that.
the pilot and the co-pilot were men.
But this is an interesting little video. For those who can't see this, we're watching a little video clip of the lifestyles of the rich and famous, showing the inside of the MGM Grand airline. One of the planes, they had multiples. But
When we took this flight one time, we finished an American leg of the tour with Pink Floyd. Oh, I shouldn't have said Pink Floyd. But anyway, we finished this leg of a tour, and the next one was starting in England. Yeah. And so we'd done a show in New York, and the next one was in London.
Yeah.
And so we took off after the show in New York. We went directly to the plane after the show. And we had 2 of the musicians went to the bathroom.
Together
when we got on board. And then we had to stop. So we took off from New York. We had to stop in where did Elvis stop when he came
Prestwick.
No. What's the farthest east in America? I can't remember. I've never been there other than on the plane to refuel.
It's the Gander, isn't it? Gander.
Gander's up north somewhere.
What's the state north of New York? Maine. Bangor,
Maine. Okay.
Right. We stopped there to refuel, to top up, a splash and dash in Bangor, Maine, to get us across to England. And as we're coming into Bangor, the pilots got onto me. Mel, there's somebody in the bathroom. They've been there since we took off from New York. And I'm going, oh. So I look around, I know who's missing. And I'm banging on the bathroom door saying, come on, guys, we're going to land. And then we have to take off. We're refueling. And then we're going to take off. They did not come out. They would not come out of this bathroom.
And that would be it wouldn't be just your tiny thing you get.
No. It was, it was
luxury bathroom.
A luxury
toilet
with padded seats.
It's still the poop still goes out at the bottom of the plane though. I mean, luxury.
Poop does not go anywhere else except where nature intended it.
That's right. So how did they land? They'd have to land.
We landed. They had no option. They landed. They wouldn't come out. We couldn't keep flying or circling around. On a commercial, the police would have come on board. But they didn't. And so we landed. We took off again. We got all the way to Gatwick. We landed at Gatwick Airport, and I'm still pounding on the door, guys. You must come out now.
By then.
Immigration are coming on board now.
What, are they just very shy? I'd love to know who it was, but I know you can't say.
I cannot name who it was, but they know who they are.
The famous rock stars.
And they're still out there working.
That narrows it down a bit. And
one was I've got to say this, one was male, one was female.
Well, that's very 70s, isn't it? That's very 70s.
See, I would only have been in there for 30 seconds.
It could have been E&E, she,
But I would only have been in there for 30 seconds then. So how come they were in there the whole flight?
Yeah, so I probably fell asleep.
I don't know what they were doing. They were having a long and meaningful conversation.
I just had a question for you, though, because you did mention Pink Floyd, and Nick Mason is a pilot, is he not?
And Dave Gilmour is.
Oh, they can both fly, okay.
Yeah.
I've seen pictures of them.
Part of that tour, there we are flying around on MGM Grand, and they fly in their little plane to keep their pilot's
Keep
hours
their hours
up.
up. Yeah.
Yeah, they've got
wow.
to. You've got to do that. You've got to keep so many hours.
Because I've seen them pictures of them in cockpits and
Yeah.
and in
When we were in Moscow, the powers, the Russian people, I wasn't involved in this. I didn't even know they were going to do it until we won't be around tomorrow, Mel. We'll be back for the sound check. Where are you going? Can't tell you. They took them off to this secret Air Force base in outside of Moscow, and they climbed in all these MiGs and things like that.
Yeah. Wow.
So yeah,
couldn't it be like Clint Eastwood in that movie Firefox? He could have stolen one.
Exactly. They could have nicked one, couldn't he?
Nick Mason, secret agent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you had that experience, but the other one you had, of course, was the famous Phil Collins Concorde thing. You said you'd been on Concorde a few times then.
Yeah. We were. It sounds blasé, I know. We were kind of regular users of Concorde.
Yeah.
And look, it's not luxurious.
It's not glamorous inside, is it?
No. It was a tube, 2x2. The service was excellent, of course.
Yeah.
It was 110 people in a tube.
Yeah.
But it took 2.25 hours to get from London to New York. I sat in that seat for takeoff.
Oh yeah, the what's the name of they call that, the spare seat?
Yeah, the jump seat.
Jump seat. Yeah, there's a name for it. So it's pretty narrow in there. It actually looks like a space shuttle.
I sat in the jump seat for takeoff.
Yeah.
One time out of Heathrow, and we flew out. We took off. We were going along, and the pilot said, "Right, we're ready to go to Mach 1 now." And he said, "I'm not flying now. The engineer's flying this now. It's all down to him."
Wow.
The engineer pressed the buttons. Nothing happened.
Oh shit.
So he said, "Oh, I could hear it. I had the headset on." He said, "All right, try it again. Fire the turbos. It's the turbos that fire the engines up, boost them up." So it didn't happen again. And at that point, the pilot turned to me and he said, "You do not say anything to anybody about this."
So it didn't
speak about it now because it doesn't fly anymore.
Because it didn't go supersonic then.
But he said, "We are allowed at second time." He said, "If it doesn't happen after the second time, we're supposed to turn around and head back." Ooh. He said, "So we're going to give it one more go." And he fired it again. Boom. Turbos kicked in. There we go. Supersonic.
So the match worked this time.
Yeah, that's it.
Now, a question: when you hit, were you guys able to hear the sonic boom inside the plane?
Not really. You could feel it though.
Yeah.
You could feel it. You could feel that jump. It wasn't.
This is what happened.
Oh,
This is on that plane.
I don't think I was. Yeah. Somebody reading that behind me. I don't know what happened. That's where I bumped my nose on the seat in front when he went whoosh.
Supersonic, yeah. Yeah, that's.
Isn't the sonic boom is when the air rushes in behind it, isn't it? Isn't it? The sonic boom is when the air rushes in.
You can't hear it on the plane because you're ahead of it. You can't.
Yeah.
But that was the reason why they didn't fly it so much. There was only from New York to London, but they didn't fly it from New York to California because
that's because the Americans blocked it.
Yeah, they didn't like the
it would blow windows out, wouldn't it?
No, it was a security thing. They didn't have a plane that could catch it. You see,
that's a good point.
They didn't have that same technology. So Americans said, "You can't overfly our country on supersonic." Because
the Blackbird could go that fast, and it came out in the 60s.
The Blackbird came afterwards. If you check, a long time afterwards.
Typical clientele on it would have been businessmen, but I guess rock stars were keen users as well.
Oh yeah. We another time we had this big snow. We were flying to Dallas for production rehearsals.
Mm-hmm.
And it must be in early January, February time. There was a snowstorm in England. The airports were closed down. We were supposed to be flying from Gatwick with Caledonian Airlines.
Oh, yeah.
That no longer exist. Loved them because they flew direct to Dallas. There was very few airlines that did. And they said, oh, no, we cancelled. I finished up getting a helicopter to get Phil and Mike Rutherford from their houses. Tony Banks wouldn't get on the helicopter because he doesn't like them. So he drove in a 4-wheel drive to get out and get to the airport. And we got to Heathrow. They bumped some people off of Concorde. Ooh. It's all right. It was the British Airways board were going to New York for a meeting, and Lord Cook, or whoever he was at the time, was on the plane, and he bumped them off. He said, no, paying patch. You know, these guys are paying passengers.
Just give them a sign.
Flew to New York, then down to Dallas, and the next day we were at the gig, and this British Caledonian Airways crew are there backstage, because we always invited the crews backstage. If they were overnighting, we'd always say, yeah, come to the show. Always a courtesy, because they looked after us, we looked after them. And so I said, oh, they said, what happened to you guys? You were supposed to be on our flight yesterday. We said, but it was cancelled. I called the airport. They said, no, there's no planes taking off. All the flights are cancelled. He went, oh, no, we took off about 30 minutes late, but we took off. I said, do not mention this to the band.
Yeah. Stum.
Well, planes, rock stars and planes are sometimes not a good mix. As we know from history, rock stars and aircraft are not always a good mix. So I guess your risk was up hundreds of flights. Your risk is going up.
Yeah. I'll do one final one, and this is and then I'll give Granny and the others a go.
Got lots of great pictures from Granny.
That's right.
We finished a leg of a tour with Genesis in Houston, Texas, and Mike and Tony wanted to go home. I don't know for what reason. We had 3 days off, or 3 or 4 days between, and then the next show was down in Miami or somewhere. And so we'd done the show in Houston. Off the stage, myself, who decided I should go back to England with them. So there's myself, Mike Rutherford, Tony Banks, into a limo, airport, Learjet, up to New York, about 3 hours in a hotel, onto Concorde the next morning, and then into London by lunchtime the next day.
Only to turn around a day later and come back.
Well, 2 days. I think we had 2 full days off.
I'd rather have gone to Miami and just hung out in a hotel on the beach or something.
Well, yeah. But
too easy.
They don't do things like, I think Tony wanted to prune his roses. Mike
is that what they call it?
And Mike wanted to play polo or something like that.
Just, I mean, just to say, I've got 3 days. I'm going to go back to the UK. Just ridiculous, but because with Concorde, it'd be easier.
Yeah, and it probably cost about $50,000 back then.
Well, I'm glad all those Genesis albums I bought are going to good use.
That's right.
Oh, absolutely, they went to a good cause. You know what I mean?
Anyway, I mean, that just shows that at that level.
And we chartered Concorde, of course.
You chartered it, oh good.
Yeah,
I'm exhausted. I need a nap. I'm exhausted.
Megastar level.
I can go on about I could do it all show me on about Concorde.
Well, we might tuck that one away because we might do that, you and I. Yeah, we might do that. We very, very well could do that, mate. For future reference. So we've got all these great spin-off shows we can do. Granny, you're the collector, of course, in the bunch. Yeah. You got a whole bunch of great stuff.
Well, that's an all Nippon Airlines boarding pass. It looks like a ticket to Disneyland, doesn't it?
It does.
Wow,
it's bizarre. It's
I wonder what that kept popping up.
you know, I keep finding stuff. I keep opening boxes and go, oh, look at that.
That is really nice. All Nippon Airways.
Yeah. For me, the whole thing, like I was saying before, is like we made that transition from Hartlepool to London, did the gig and went to Europe. And then all of a sudden, we're as familiar with flying around as we were like the Autobahns in Germany and stuff. But I was into it. I collected everything for especially the first few flights. This is summer of '74. I just kept everything. Granif International. They don't exist anymore.
No,
yeah, these are all brilliant.
The attendants, the hostesses, they used to wear this really bizarre outfit with the go-go boots, I think, with the like two colored like caps and things.
Red and gold or something, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Never noticed.
Fun. Yeah.
Well, you had this kind of thing, which was American Airlines. American Airlines, like that.
Yeah, a bit of everybody in there, look.
And then
Remember that.
This was them waiting for Granny. This was just for him, lined up waiting.
That is his Granny.
Granny's fan club. But I just, it was such a thing for me. I mean, I remember my first major flight was to Boston on a 747. I'd never been on one of these things. I got on and I just was like, you know, it's like a house. You got 3 sets of seats. There's British Caledonian, Mal. I kept the old ticket. I just kept stuff, and I thought someday this might be interesting. But the whole thing of getting on these planes and just traveling, we were really traveling and going. Like my first major tour took us to the States and then down to Australia, New Zealand, and then you started getting just into the groove of flying. I always found it exciting at the beginning. It was like really felt like we were doing something, and then we had to fly back from Australia. And I was dreading it because we were going direct from Australia to London. And we got on the plane at Perth, and it took 27 hours.
Oh,
with 3 stops.
But imagine with modern technology, if you had a plane that could do Mach 3, which we could probably do, that would take you a third of the time. Yeah,
that's right. Yeah, I mean the plane itself started in New Zealand, so the plane had 2 stops before it got to us. So that plane went all the way from New Zealand to London. It'd just be a different crew every time you opened your eyes.
To see the pilot.
I did that. My first flight back from that area was from New Zealand back to England, and we had 5 stops.
Yeah, that's it.
I like this one here, Rocket Cargo.
Yeah,
right.
Cargo. Yeah.
But the reason I scanned this is Capital International Airways. I don't remember them at all. It must have been just a freight company.
Freight, yeah,
it must have been.
Tennessee. Rocket Cargo wanted me to go to work for them in 1980, and I didn't see that. Well, what kind of a gig is that? You know, it was a good business, but they wanted me to open up an office with them in LA. I mean, that's what they said. It wasn't the right time for me. I'm not really a businessman.
Delta going to Atlanta to Dallas. I mean, there's a lot of Dallas because it was a hub, I guess. So
yeah.
I mean, these are just little memories, you know, little snippets. I've got bus tickets from the 60s. I'm a real weirdo, you know. Yeah. I crossed the equator. That's fantastic.
Hail Lord
And to think back then, like, even if you guys are flying coach, people were smaller, the seats were bigger.
Yeah.
And then now, like, you've tried to fly coach, and, like, people are bigger and the seats are smaller.
Oh, yeah.
I know. It was never super comfortable.
Seat pitches like this now, like 14 inches or something. It's ridiculous.
It's super tiny. Like, it seems like I had more room when I was bigger. Now that I've lost over 100 and some pounds, like I sit in like a seat on like Southwest, and I'm still just scrunched in. Like it's not even fair, you know. It's like
So this is Limburg. Limburg, is that Germany?
It's Netherlands, I think.
Netherlands, okay.
Like I said, I was just in this thing. I was picking postcards up. I've got I've got aircraft postcards. that's just what I'm like. I hang on.
This is you'd mentioned the New Zealand and Australia. This is arrival papers.
You know, when you arrive in Australia, New Zealand, the first thing they do is they come down the plane with aerosols and just spray everything and everybody. Yeah, because they don't want bugs.
Yeah,
they're trying to keep it.
They particularly spray the rock stars and roadies.
Oh, especially, we got secondary treatment. Yeah,
they don't want crabs.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, well, my reputation preceded me. You know.
Which band was this? You were.
This would have been Steel Ice Band.
Steel Ice Band.
Oh, and did you see the scan of the entertainment? The thing from Qantas. I kept.
Coming up, yeah.
The reason that's just the Pan Am one, but this Steel Ice Span had 2 tracks on the flight we were on.
Oh, wow.
For me, this is 74. I mean, I'm like, this is unbelievable.
So this is what they were playing. They were playing Funeral
This was
for a
the
Friend.
in-flight entertainment on the Rock Channel. It was
Funeral
everything.
for a
The
Friend,
Edge.
Love's Lies Bleeding.
Yeah.
And then The Boatman, which is Davy Johnson, Elton John's guitar player.
Yeah.
I think if it's the same Davy Johnson.
Probably.
Then Pink Floyd, One of These Days.
Yeah.
Then Steel Eye Span, Drink Down the Moon.
Yeah.
Maria Muldaur, remember her?
Yeah.
In the Oasis. Work song. The Doobies, The Close to the Edge by Yes. Wind of Change by Badger. Vaguely remember Badger.
Vaguely.
Yeah, I remember Badger.
Yeah, Benny and the Jets, and then Mooncoin Jig. Imagine Steel Eye Span made two of that list.
I mean, it's pretty amazing. And to be on the plane and you go, oh, that's us. You know, it was quite a buzz. Like I said, this was that period. I couldn't believe I was doing this stuff.
Only when they realized they weren't getting paid for it, they got upset.
Yeah.
But you got a bunch of stuff, yeah.
Just a quickie, guys. That's a picture of me with John Anderson and Rick Wakeman.
Let me make you larger.
Said the actress to the bishop.
Me larger, please.
Yes. I think I've made it girthier there. So that's you and John Anderson. I take it.
And Rick Wakeman's up there somewhere.
I was going to say, I bet you John's the short one.
Yeah.
No, I've squatted down to make him taller, you know,
to make him feel better.
Yeah.
So where was that taken? Where was that?
It's a big Easter bunny there. So it was on some American tour.
Yeah, with Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, you had something you were showing us earlier before we came on screen. It was a Grammy, your file facts with the Grammy Awards.
The file effects, the 80s file effects.
For all those young people out there who don't know, before you had a phone, this is where you kept everything.
Yep.
The file facts. It was
MTV, Christina M. Norman.
Yeah.
Production manager.
Yeah.
Sean Quamby, special agent for the U.S. Secret Service.
Wow.
See, that's Mal. Mal doesn't know it. He's
Cleveland
partly a
Police
train.
Department.
He's a train spotter.
Bapler, Commander, 2nd District. Those are the people I was mixing with.
Right.
Yeah, yeah. And you kept all those
MTV,
cards.
Rick Krim.
I think you should try calling all those numbers one day and see if any of them still work.
Yeah.
But where's the Grammy pass? You had something that was to do with the
Oh,
Grammys.
yeah. There's
your camera's reversed. But
the 28th Annual Grammy Awards, All Access,
pass.
1986.
Wow.
Yeah, look at that.
It's reversed, but you can see it. Yeah.
Oh, hang on. Oh, no. Can I
It
refresh?
doesn't matter. Doesn't matter, right? So that was the 86 Grammys.
Yeah.
Were you there with Genesis?
No, I was there with Phil Collins.
Oh, Phil, yeah, right.
And he cleaned up that year. And I have a Grammy story from that because...
Oops. There you go.
No, go back.
Oh.
Chin.
Oh, yeah, the chin.
Right. Hang on. All right, go ahead. Yeah, we see it. There's
Right.
it's very Kirk Douglas, is it not?
Yeah, well, it's very Kirk Douglas. And at that Grammy Awards, we were sitting front and center because Phil was, and next to us was Michael Jackson. And I'm having a senior moment.
It's okay, take your time.
Take a sip of wine.
Yeah,
this other guy, Michael Jackson, another guy.
That other guy, yeah.
Yeah, the
Prince.
other guy. Anyway, Phil and I don't know who's been to these shows. Wilco probably has. They do seat fillers. So when Phil was going on stage, I shuffled across and somebody would sit in my seat. And so I finish up spending a lot of time next to Michael Jackson. And Michael said to me, "Excuse me, is that thing on your chin real?"
I got one
I said, "What do you mean?" And he said, "That thing on your chin, is that real?" And I said, "Well, of course it is, Michael." And he went, "Okay." So then Phil's back up on stage. I'm back sitting next to Michael. Quincy Jones, by the way, was the guy, the other guy.
Yeah.
And he says, would you mind if we had our picture taken? And I said, what? He said, would you mind if we had our picture taken? I said, you're Michael friggin' Jackson. You know, and he said, well, would you mind? I said, are you taking the piss?
I wouldn't know what that meant.
Taking the piss? I said, it's taking the Michael. And he went, and he went, photographer, and that was it. I swear, the following year, he had the dimple.
You see, that's what you wanted the picture for.
Yeah.
Plastic
Me and Mal,
surgery
we
model.
both have Kirk Douglasy chins, you know.
So really, that's the untold story about Michael Jackson, how he
Yeah,
got his
and
look.
if you want a confirmation, just ask him.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, so indeed,
There is picture. Your research. You can research this.
I
You can
will.
find the pictures of Michael Jackson and Quincy Jones
I
at
will.
the Grammy Awards 1986. They
I'll
are
take it.
there.
I will
I've
take a
seen
look for that. But yeah, obviously, he was thrilled to be sitting next to the famous Mal Craggs. That's
Oh,
what
yeah.
Of course he was, because he went, Mal Craggs.
That's right.
Crazy.
How about you come to work for me, Mal, instead of
Yeah.
those bums Genesis?
Yeah. I say, I ain't got time, Michael. I'm busy.
That's right.
Yeah, I'm
Don't
busy right
talk
now.
to me, Michael. I'm far too busy.
Yeah.
Yeah. That must have been a hell of an experience. I mean, there must be a lot of TV footage of you sitting in the front row there. Then.
I don't know. I've seen photographs of Michael and Quincy Jones with empty seats next to them, but I haven't seen.
That's because the airbrushed you out. The airbrushed you.
Photoshopped you out.
Well, later on, Michael said, "I don't want them to know that he got my chin."
Yeah, I don't
I
want
got
that
my
guy to
chin
be
from
in the
that guy.
pictures because he stole his chin.
Yeah.
I am kind of mad at Michael Jackson because he died on my birthday.
Yeah.
Kind of took,
Oh.
you know, like it took the piss out of my birthday that day. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like I was like to go out and was like all sad.
Ruined your birthday forever. Yeah.
Selfish.
It did, yeah.
Yeah, well, that's the
selfish.
same thing. You know, Elvis died the day before my birthday, so everybody, all they were talking about the next day was Elvis dying.
Hmm.
Yeah. And
He
Elvis had
played
been
my city. The last city he ever played was Indianapolis.
Yeah.
Really? Yeah. Yeah. I did. I've read the great books by Guralnick about Elvis's life, and it talks a lot about that last gig. So I'm going to have to go back and read that bit again because he was not in good shape.
No,
Let's put it
not
that
at
way.
all.
Definitely not.
Poor bugger. But I guess he did it to spite you, Mal.
Just to spite me.
I'm going to get that Mal Craggs. Lemonade. So you had a lot more stuff like this, Grant. This is another Qantas boarding pass. You kept this boarding pass.
I mean, I just threw it in my bag, you know. And
Grinch, I'd have to get a warehouse for boarding passes.
Yeah.
oh, I know.
But
Yeah.
it says this was in 1930.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
That sounds about right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. A $20
Departure
tax, you know.
tax.
I just think it's funny. I like all this stuff.
It's kind of neat. Yeah. I mean, I've never flown to Australia. I mean, you guys all have.
And do we? Let's test the panel here. Who knows what Qantas stands for? I know.
Well, tell us.
You would.
Is it a cool, refreshing drink?
I know.
It's Australian for airplane.
It's Queensland and Northern Territories Air Service.
Oh, I did not know that because they've got a thing about Qantas. This was on the back of something they gave you.
Well,
Was
what
it
that
this?
is, see that thing you've got now, the scan doesn't do it justice. It's the menu card for the in-flight, and all of that stuff. All of that stuff is about the origins of flight, and it's all embossed on the cardboard. The scan doesn't do it justice, but it's all about Leonardo da Vinci and all the little items on that card. I mean, this was quality stuff.
Golfie Brothers, Herschel. Now you'd get you wouldn't get anything like that now.
Yeah, so just the whole package, everything from the entertainment. The whole thing was just. I love this kind of stuff anyway. You wouldn't get it now. All this, you're lucky to get anything.
No, you don't get that.
But,
now, but there's
Entertainment.
you've got such great stuff that you've kept.
Well, I
There's,
just have quirky stuff. I mean, it's just things that caught my attention. Things like this, I just keep. It happens to have a train on it.
planes, trains, and
No automobiles. Yeah. Yeah.
Air Brussels National Airport. Yeah. So you can
See,
get
there'd be
that
somebody would like, oh, can I get a copy of that? There'd be some nutcase that is into that
Another
bus
nutcase.
service.
Oh,
Another
that'll be-
nutcase. I should have qualified that.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
then
That's what
TWA.
somebody cut the stamp off the postcard. But that's at L1011. Used to like them.
This
Although Molly would never like sit in certain seats because somebody got sucked out of a window or something once. So Molly would never have row 17G or something. Do you remember, Wilco?
So like this.
We flew TWA and Pan American a lot.
Yeah, no.
First class, upstairs in a 747.
Oh, the bar upstairs.
And the going, well, it was, you know, it was the only, Pan American was the only airline that would start feeding you on takeoff.
Yeah.
And you remember the Italian tour we did, Grinch.
Oh, yeah.
And I flew back with Molly, Roger, Barry Owen, and myself. And we're at Rome airport. And I'd never take Quaaludes. I can't stand them. And Molly's like, we've been up for nearly 2 days, Wilkie. I went, yeah. I'm going to sleep on the entire flight. He goes, take one of these. I went, I don't need them. So about 10 minutes before we boarded, I went, okay, I'll take it. So I'm walking to the airline, and it's like, sorry, but this flight's delayed for 2 hours.
Oh, shoot.
I was like, no.
Fall asleep on the floor.
Oh, no. It was like, I nearly got arrested twice. There was people walking around with machine guns and, you know, but that flight was absolutely outrageous, you can imagine. I was off my rails. Well, I stole all the red wine upstairs. I had it all stashed. And the airline stewardesses are like, well, what's going on here, you know? Yeah, a lot of 2 legs over easy. I guess that happened somewhere down the line.
I have another memory of...
wings over easy, sorry.
I have another memory of Rome Airport with the Average White Band, and we got individual flight cases for the guitars. Like, we didn't have a big case that we would stand them up in. We had individual. So I was walking into the terminal carrying 2 guitars in anvil cases, and I mistimed it. The automatic doors didn't open as quickly as I thought they would, and I took both sets of windows out. You remember that?
Yeah.
I just kept going.
Yeah. Nothing.
I just kept going and looked around like,
nothing to see here.
I did that with the Mayflower Hotel. Check out the Mayflower Hotel with the guitars, and I just took out the revolving doors and everything. And Slim and Smiley, remember the 2 baggage guys?
oh, I do, yeah.
They were brilliant. They were like, "It's all right, Wilkie, we'll fix it." See,
Just keep going. You don't own it. You just
Are you saying that you're like Chuck Norris? You can slam a revolving door?
Oh yeah, took it right out. It wasn't revolving much longer.
Yeah, but I think on that same trip we did it. There was we were in Portugal when there was a putsch or a military coup the day we were trying to leave. I think that's what you were referring to. I didn't quite know what was going on.
Yeah, that would have been pretty scary.
Yeah,
it was interesting. Yeah.
Well, we had to stay in the hotel, remember, the night before?
Yeah.
And, Hamish and a couple of lads sneaked out and went down to the local pub.
Right.
And I was walking around outside. The guys who just had machine guns, just saying, "No, get back inside," in the best Italian, you know.
Well, Portuguese, I think.
Portuguese.
That's why there was a problem, because they were
Yeah,
That's why I didn't understand them.
Yeah.
So people forget that in Europe in the 60s, 70s, it wasn't exactly all peace and love. I mean, there was a ton of Greece was forever under military.
Exactly.
Juntas.
Yeah.
Italy.
Spain still had a dictator.
Franco was
in
still
Portugal with Vinegar Joe. We were doing a gig there, and the people set fire to the doors.
What, Jim Morrison? No. That's pretty brutal. It was a bad set. They set fire.
There was a thing going on there. So the promoters had to throw open all the doors and let everybody in. You know, it was
yeah.
And
a lot of anarchy. Music should be free.
A lot of anarchy going on. Italy on that first tour with Van der Graaf. You know, riot police, tear gas, regularly at gigs.
The good old days.
And that was the late 60s, early 70s. You know.
I mean, it wasn't like Britain was immune. We had the whole Northern Ireland thing for years and various other stuff going on. I mean, that must have made touring in Ireland pretty difficult.
I did a tour there with another one of these quirky bands, Stackridge.
I love Stackridge.
Yeah, and we were driving from...
That's 2 of you, 2 fans.
Yeah. We were driving from the Republic up to Northern Ireland, and we at the time they didn't have a fixed border post because it kept getting blown up. So they thought we'll just have a mobile command post. So we come along in a 3-ton truck. There's 2 or 3 roadies in the truck, and we pulled out. And the guy said, "Okay, this is what's going to happen for the next 2 miles. No matter what happens, don't stop. No matter what might happen." And they put 2 squaddies on, one on each side of the truck with machine guns, and we took off. And we went through without any hindrance. But they said, no matter what happens, even if these 2 get shot and blown off, keep going. And we had a gig that night in Belfast.
Yeah, I flew into Belfast with the Tremolos, and basically the army picked us up, walked us off the airplane, put us in cars, stopped all the streets off, got us to our hotel, and went, "You're not leaving until you go to the gig." End of story. And it happened the same time in '82 with Meatloaf. I mean, I couldn't believe it. I mean, it was like,
it was,
you know, we still doing this for. But
I had a similar thing in Belfast with Status Quo. We arrived, went to the hotel. The hotel was totally surrounded by military, you know, tanks, everything was there. And they said, "Oh yeah, this is," and we were talking, "Yeah, this is the most bombed hotel in Belfast."
Well played, yes.
The call to the travel agent.
It was Harry. When I first started going over there,
he said, "Don't worry, you know, don't worry."
You could tell which part of the town you're in by what color the sidewalks are. You know?
Very sad. Very sad.
They were all red back then.
But I used to get in a lot of hassle when I went back and forth to Ireland, because A, had been in the military, British military, and then B, had spent time in the Middle East.
Oh.
And C, I was usually hungover. So they always picked on me, security at both ends. Like, something about this guy.
I think we need to do a show on you, Brian. We need to find out the real Brian. What makes you tick?
You see the real me.
Yeah.
The Middle East, Belfast.
Yeah. There's a story in there.
International secret agent, that's me.
Yeah.
Just call me James.
Bob Bond.
Money page. Pushy galore was here.
You know,
So we were told to keep a low. So we were told to keep a low profile that night, right? So of course, BB and me, during the sound check, there was a little problem with something on the equipment, and I stood in front of the stage and dropped my trousers, mooned the band, right, just as you do. And the bass player says, "You wouldn't do that when the audience was in." Okay, so that night during the show, there was a problem with the equipment, so I went on to fix. It was a power strip. And he goes, "Well," so I did a complete. I went the full hog, full naked. The full Monty, did a pirouette around in front of the front row of the audience. All these ladies are like, and it got written up in the newspaper.
Yeah, and now we know why the troubles started.
That's right. That was another set of troubles.
Well, Granny, you must remember Solly and I used to, with the Tremolos, we used to just strip.
Yeah.
And run straight through the audience and go on stage.
Yeah.
The Tremolos would be like, "Here comes my baby." It was fantastic.
I think Rowdies being naked on stage is a bit of a tradition, though. Really.
Yeah, we did it. We did it, I think, on the Uriah Heep tour.
Yeah.
Where every one of the crew, as the band were playing the final song, one by one, the crew walked across the stage, you know, naked.
Yeah.
As one went off one side, another one come on.
I think these days you'd catch a case.
I know. The thing is, you guys all had such long hair that nobody could really tell. You know.
Yeah, we were all pasty white, skinny. We all looked alike.
Yeah, we all looked alike, pasty white, skinny guys.
The dangers of alcohol.
Not always.
No.
No,
you had to relieve that. You had to have some fun. I mean, you were young guys. You had a lot of laughs. Yeah.
You had nothing to lose.
Exactly. But your dignity. Your virginity. So on that happy note, gentlemen, we've reached the top of the hour.
We have?
We have.
Time flies.
Airlines.
It's your show, though, guys. You can keep going.
Yeah.
Just streak by that.
Yeah, streaked by. Very good. Yes.
Streaked.
Yes, indeed. So, it's up to you guys. You want to keep going, or we'll be professional and stick to
leave them wanting more.
Leave the public wanting more. I'd like to thank everyone that's been in the chat, Lord Thoth and Davina and all the other great people that were in there. Low Spec,
Lina,
Andy Morrow, and the other person whose name we struggled with, Maru.
I think that's Maria.
Maria, deeply apologize.
Could be.
Yeah, no, I think it is because
you're right. That last name.
She texted me and said,
Maria. Okay,
yeah,
well,
I think that's Maria Andre, but it's written in Greek.
Yeah. So thank you all for listening, and those that are listening on the replay, thank you for that too. Don't forget to click the like button and share out the stream and subscribe to the channel. That would be awfully nice of you all. And the guys promise not to strip on screen if you subscribe.
Yes, unless you pay extra. Unless you pay extra.
I wouldn't trust Grange.
Yeah.
So I'd like to thank our great friend Dustin for being here as usual to assist
Nice one,
me.
Dustin.
What's coming up for you, Dustin, on the Keto Simple channel?
I've got some content coming. I will be gone for the next 2 weeks. I'll be in Florida, so I won't be joining you fine gentlemen for 2 weeks. But I will be back at the beginning of November. Yeah, plenty of content lives coming up.
And Dustin, I'm going to talk to you because I need to go on a diet.
Sure. we'll get you sorted out.
Yeah, I want to lose 20 pounds.
20.
Well, you just go down the bar and buy a couple of pints. That's 20 pounds going straight away. Yeah.
Comes off Tuesday.
Yeah.
Can't wait.
There's first pound.
Yeah.
So, well, thank you to our distinguished panel as usual. If you gentlemen have got any final words for our wonderful audience.
It was his fault.
It was not my fault. It was his fault.
Christy done it.
He did it.
Okay, it was well, someone's to blame, and we'll figure that out later. As for me, your host, That 70s Rock Fan, check my channel out too. Put a few videos up about various things this week, and on Saturday night I got my bourbon and boarding show about hockey with my friend Brahma Bull, and then on next Monday it's Only Talk and Roll on my channel. We're going to do a scary bands for Halloween. So Alice Cooper, King Diamond, The Damned, and other bands that are
Typo negative.
Kind of Halloween-y, but we're not doing the Monster Mash. No Monster Mash. So that'll be a lot of fun. But anyway, have a great day, everyone. Enjoy the rest of your week. And, of course, keep on rocking.